Tell me about your art.
Well, I draw a cartoon for the new Santa Fe, New Mexican every day. It's a daily. It's a native cartoon. So I take my favorite cartoons that I've drawn, and there's over 7,000 of them, and I paint them on these little canvas thingies, and I sell them, to my fans, wherever at markets, when I go to conferences to talk, or even when I do comedy, like I'm going to do tonight in downtown Albuquerque. I take this stuff with me, and we have T-shirts that were made by my daughter, and so yeah, that's how I do make my money.
So, what message do you try to convey through your art?
Well, a lot of times I say, especially I had a book. I came out with a book, 2012, with a bunch of my cartoons, and it. I would say, because it's a native cartoon and it's almost one of a kind. It's like the jokes are very universal, and so I try to get a lot of messages out to, especially non-natives who would normally not read a native cartoon. And so I go, wow, here's my chance to educate them. And so I do a lot of cartoons about native history that otherwise they wouldn't know about. Like June 25th, 1876, Battle of Little Bighorn. I'll draw something about that, put the date up there, and just educate people through my cartoons on native issues. Whether it's treaty rights, water rights, land rights, whatever. And even fracking, like in Chaco Canyon, I'm drawing attention to that because for 1 week I drew nothing but stuff like that. So.
How does your art differ from other New Mexican artists?
Oh man, it's totally different. I mean, in fact, no one in the world does what I do. I don't think. In fact, I'm the only native cartoonist in the country that draws a native cartoon that's featured daily in a mainstream newspaper.
So you're also a comedian. Tell me about that.
Well, it's just kind of just go hand in hand, because a lot of my the cartoons, like the punchlines, I actually use some of those cartoons in my punchlines during my stand-up comedy, and so it's a easy transition being the cartoonist and then being the stand-up comedian, and as I talk about native issues as well.
What's your favorite cartoon?
Well, my favorite cartoon to watch growing up was Looney Tunes, of course, but I think it's a three-way tie, really. It's Bill Watterson, who does Calvin and Hobbes, Gary Larson, who does The Far Side, and then Don Martin, who used to draw for Mad Magazine. That magazine is no longer in print, but growing up, every month that was the thing to read, because oh my gosh, it was just so funny. Al Jaffe, Sergio Aragonés, who did the little cartoons along the side, and I grew up, reading about these cartoonists, and then one day I was like, I want to be just like them. And that must have been around 7th, 8th grade. I started drawing at 5th grade. Well, 7th, 8th grade, I was like reading through it, and then I thought I would love to be on that staff with Mad Magazine. I want to be a cartoonist. So one day my dad asked me, so what do you want to be? You want to be a policeman, a lawyer, doctor, whatever? I said, no, Dad, I want to be a cartoonist. He was like, what? I want to be a cartoonist. He's like, what is that? Like, well, and I showed him the magazine, and these guys are funny, and he just looks and he just shakes his head and walks away. But later on, before he passed away, he kind of saw what I could do, and he actually started pushing me towards getting some income out of this, and now this is a perfect timing for this interview, because now my cartoon is being seen as very very valuable, and the fact that I'm the only person probably in the world that does this, where um, I don't just draw for like natives, because there'll be a lot of inside jokes, lip pointing and whatever that non-natives wouldn't get, and so I try to stay away from that. I try to keep it to where non-natives will get it as well. And that's the beauty of this cartoon, is because I can take any issue, even with the stuff going on with our government and our supposed leader. I draw about him, and a lot of people say, wow, as bad as this is, what's going on, your cartoons make me laugh, your cartoons make me feel good. And so that's, I figured a way to be able to take tragedy or just bad things and lightheartedly turn it into one of my creations to address it. And I've gotten very, very good at it.
Cool. And then one more question. How does your art relate to broader northern New Mexican art?
To what?
To like broader northern New Mexican art.
Northern New Mexican art?
Yeah.
I know. I would say it goes against it, probably. Because they're heavily, Hispanic influence. Then here I come along with this, like for instance, the entrada and all that stuff. The northern communities like we're talking about Spanish communities, right?
Spanish and native, like the mix.
Oh, okay. Well, I was referring to Spanish because the New Mexico History Museum wanted me to submit 8 big pieces depicting history from a native standpoint. And so the first one I drew was this big old, there's Coronado and his priest and this expedition. Coronado 1540 was the first to arrive here. They arrived in Zuni Pueblo. But he led this whole army, or this, of his men, and of course priests. And I drew that, painted that. And they've come upon this little village, and there's a lone, like maybe the tribal leader, half naked, he's just standing there. And here comes Coronado. He pulls up with all his cannons, his shields, his swords, what do you call it, spears. They're all armored. Even the horses are armored. You can see them all the way disappearing into the horizon. And they've come to a stop, and it's, dust is settling. Lone Indian native right there, Pueblo Indian. And from his high horse, Coronado says, "We come in peace." It's just that simple.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
He probably said that. They didn't mean it. Things transpired from that. And so I don't know if they still want me to do that, because they haven't, contacted me after that. But I have more. More of. Since you asked that question, I like doing what I do because basically when I tried to submit my cartoons to the New Yorker a few years ago, I actually did. I physically went to the office and left them there. On my train ride back to Boston, I got a text just a couple hours after leaving New York City, and the editor, she wrote, "Thank you for submitting, blah blah blah, but these cartoons are pretty racy," and then blah blah blah, and then at the end she goes, I don't think this country's ready for this cartoon." Right away I wrote back, "Thank you for taking the time to look at the stuff, blah, blah, blah." And my last sentence was, "This country has been waiting 528 years for this cartoon." And so the fact that, we were a conquered tribe, we were never conquered. They lied and cheated us out of treaties and stuff. We're still here. But the fact that we've never had a say-so in history, I mean, open up any history book, you'll find 2-3 pages of native stuff. Well, here I am with 8,000 cartoons about the United States, our country, from my point of view, from a native standpoint. And so I love the fact that now we have a voice some people don't like it. Some people are offended by some of my cartoons, which is okay, you know, because everything in the U.S. history book offends me. So, you know, an eye for an eye. That's kind of negative. I don't really mean to be like that. It's just that I have this voice, and I'm going to use it
Yeah.
as a native.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's cool.